So, is everything ready?
Yeah, but what's this gadget for anyway?
It's a device that, once hooked to Joshua's head, will connect my system to him.
And by doing so, it'll give the computer the ability to contact or record Joshua's mind while he's sleeping.
I'm not sure I understand, but will it work?
We'll have to see and hope for the best.
Alright then, place the helmet on Joshua's head.
Roger that, Doctor.
Alright, here we go.
Where am I?
Sir, are you there?
Computer? Is that you? What's going on?
The robo-doctor, Sofia, and I have installed a special device to your head in order for me to connect to the inside of your mind.
My mind?
Precisely. And while you recover, I'll be filming and recording you so that you can share with the viewers your favorite episodes that you've made over the past 13 seasons.
Awesome! Shall we get started?
Certainly.
Hey everybody, this is Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince from Mustang Prince Orro Reports. So, as you folks can see, my body is currently under a healing coma until the next several months. But anyway, until I do awaken, I'll be presenting videos where we look back at some of my favorite blogs that I made, but only one video per season. And I think the best place to start is at the very beginning. But before we get started with season 1, I'd like to refresh everybody's memory on how Mustang Prince Orro Reports began. For those who don't know, my title as Mustang Prince was inspired by the Chinese zodiac year that I was born in, along with the fact that I attended Trabuco Hills High School, where the Mustang was the school's mascot. Plus, in 2008, when my sister Sabrina and I became part of Musical Theater Village's Royal Court, that gave me my Prince title. As for the Orro Reports part, well, it's pretty obvious that it's a play on word, parodying oral reports, only using my last name. As for my inspiration for becoming an internet film blogger, well, back in summer 2011, I was influenced by several different people, whether via YouTube or other websites like Reviewers Unknown and Mr. Code and Friends. Most notably folks like Huey Toonmore, Jaime Tude, The Hardcore Kid, Rowdy C, The Cartoon Hero, Isaac the Media Hunter, and a few others. So, I started to think, I wonder how it'd be if I shared my own thoughts on a few films, whether being bad or good. And then, on September 13th, 2013, my YouTube blog show was born. Now, I must be quite honest, season 1 wasn't very perfect for me. I mean, sure, I was a bit of a novice back then, and that I was going through my second to last semester at Saddleback College, but I was also using Cyberlink UCam and Windows Movie Maker to put my videos together. Plus, I didn't use Microsoft Word to write out what I would say, so I only described the films that I blogged from how I remembered them. And believe me, it was pretty hard, especially due to the fact that I was suffering from severe pain in my left femur, which I later discovered was caused by a giant cell tumor which created a golf ball sized hole in said femur. Anyway, I started season 1 and my blog series with the Friday the 13th franchise, but only the ones that I saw at the time. And to me, the ones from the 1980s and some of the ones from the 90s don't feel as intense as Freddy vs. Jason or the 2009 film. But still, a lot of them were very thrilling and entertaining. Plus, I did have a lot of fun singing a karaoke cover of Alice Cooper's He's Back song. Next came Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, and despite what Animat said in his review, personally, to me, like some animated sequels out there, I admit it's not better than its 2009 predecessor, but I still found the movie to be very entertaining, and I didn't mind the environmental message. Plus, I thought it was very breathtaking on how Flint Lockwood's Flid Cimderfur transforms Swallow Falls into a home for sentient food animals. Also, to this day, I still think Barry is a really adorable strawberry. And while Flint and his friends are very memorable and fun, the one character who I didn't really like too much in this sequel was Chester V, due to his manipulative and greedy personality, which sometimes made me feel a bit uncomfortable. Plus, I just can't believe that he attempted to turn Flint's friends into food bars, and the fact that he's very rude when he calls his lab partner Barb a monkey, when she's actually an ape. Also to note, I thought the food puns were pretty creative. For my third episode, I looked at the 2013 Carrie film, based on the book of the same name by Stephen King, and I must let you folks know that this was the very first film, let alone the very first horror film that I saw in theaters on my own. And to me, like in the book and in the original film from 1976, I think Carrie White is a very relatable girl due to her being an outcast, and I think her telekinetic abilities make her very special. Plus, I'm surprised that Carrie in this version was born during the exact same year my sister Sabrina was born. Also, for some time lately, I've been saying that I wish Carrie was a real person, because if she was, I would love to be her friend, since we outcasts must stick together. Plus, while most of the other characters weren't very likable, due to them tormenting the poor girl, I thought Sue Snell was redeemable. Her boyfriend Tommy was sweet to invite Carrie to prom, and the PE teacher, Ms. Desjardins, was a sweet mother figure to Carrie. Also, I thought Chloe Grace Moretz did a wonderful performance as Carrie. Anyway, after seeing this movie in theaters, I made it my goal to see as many horror films in theaters as I can in order to help me overcome my fears. The next thing I did was create my very first countdown video, where I shared 25 of my favorite films to watch during the Halloween season. Some that were live action and some that were animated. And to me, this was a really fun and nostalgic experience. However, at the same time, I feel like my countdown is a bit dated nowadays. Hopefully, as soon as I awaken, I might be able to remake this list, and maybe I might add a collaborator if possible. Not long after Halloween ended, I looked at the animated Thanksgiving film Freebirds, and to me, while it's not technically one of the best animated films of 2013, I still give the film credit for being one of the rarest examples of an animated Thanksgiving movie, since most animated Thanksgiving films were made for television. But anyway, I like that the film involves two turkeys traveling through time to the first Thanksgiving to stop other turkeys from becoming the main course. Also, I kind of found it interesting that the film used Miles Standish, a person who actually existed, as the main villain. And while Reggie was a very sympathetic main character due to him living in a flock of dumb turkeys, I thought Jake stood out more due to his childhood backstory and his goal to redeem himself when he failed to save his unhatched siblings. Plus, I thought George Takei as the Time Machine Steve was both humorous and very entertaining. The next thing I blogged was Princess Sofia's second TV special, The Floating Palace, which not only was the very first time I blogged something from Sofia the First, but it was also my very first mermaid-related blog, and that was long before I learned about Mermaid. Anyway, this has got to be one of my favorite blogs that I've ever made during 2013, mainly due to the beautiful underwater scenery in Maraway Cove, and I thought Sofia's mermaid form, which was granted by Princess Elena via the Amulet of Avalor as a reward for saving her new mermaid friend Princess Una from a fishing net, is really beautiful. Plus, I thought the true highlight of this special was Jodie Benson doing two voices. One for Una and Cora's mom, Queen Emmeline, and the second for guest Disney princess Ariel. A few weeks later, after my grandma turned 80 years old, I looked at Disney's Frozen, which I had been very excited for ever since I heard that the True House of Mouse was doing their own take on the Snow Queen. And after seeing the film in theaters, I immediately loved it. And I liked that it focused on the relationship between sisters, and I think Anna and Elsa made awesome new additions to the Disney Princess lineup. Also to note, I've gained a crush on Elsa due to the fact that I sort of have something in common with her. Afterwards, I blogged Princess Sofia's first Wassalia episode, Holiday in Enchantia, and to me, this was a very sweet and magical holiday episode. I loved the wintry environment, even though it becomes a fierce blizzard. I loved the opening song Wassalia, and I loved Princess Aurora's guest role, instructing Sofia to ask help from her animal friends to find her dad, King Roland. Next was my second countdown video, where I shared 25 of my favorite holiday films. However, like the Halloween countdown from earlier, I feel like it's a bit dated, and I think I should remake it someday. Plus, I think it would be fun if I could have someone to share it with. Maybe one of my internet pen pals if I'm lucky. However, I wasn't so lucky afterwards because I unfortunately concluded season 1 with one of the worst animated films I've ever seen, which was a Hanukkah movie called 8 Crazy Nights. Now, don't get me wrong, while I am interested in seeing what certain holidays are like outside of my traditions and religions, this one was very, very uncomfortable. And while I do accept that Adam Sandler tried his first attempt to make an animated film with Happy Madison, and that I understand that it was inspired by his Hanukkah song, sadly, it didn't really sit well with me due to the raunchy humor, the immature voice acting, and certain other things. But I just hope that someday, if I can look at something else that's Hanukkah related, I would want it to be more entertaining, fun, and educational. Maybe something like the Rugrats Hanukkah special if possible. But anyway, that about wraps it up for my memories from Season 1. Be sure to join me in April for when I share my memories from Season 2. Mustang Power.
And that's a wrap. As for everyone at home, please wish Mustang Prince Joshua Orro a safe and speedy recovery, and take care.